Welcome to Two Roads Crossing, a podcast production of the Christian Veterinary Mission. Do you wonder how your faith fits together with your profession? Well, join us as we explore how to live well at the intersection of two roads crossing.
Welcome, everyone, and I'm Curtis Gibbs with Christian Veterinary Mission, your host of Two Roads Crossing, where we discuss the intersection of faith and veterinary medicine. And today we're on the road with Faith Snapp, who is a first-year veterinary student at Texas Tech. Faith, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
You are really living the student life because I can tell from the screen behind you, you're in a study hall room of some sort right now on campus, I'm guessing.
Oh yeah, always I feel like I'm always up here learning more. So
Well, there you go. Well, so tell us where you're at in your veterinary school journey.
yeah, so I guess I'm a little over halfway through my first semester at Texas Tech School of Veterinary Medicine, and it has just been wonderful. Stepping into the actual schooling of it all. But yeah, this place is great, and they've been good to me, and I've been learning so much. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now, just in the midst of exams.
Lovely. Well, thanks for taking the time to share with us today. So, Texas Tech is new enough of a vet school that I don't even have a banner. I went to find a pennant for you guys because I usually theme the background for our guests, and I thought about throwing some cowboy boots or something Texasy here, but I just decided to throw my Georgia thing there. Go Dogs! But I'll say this is Texas Tech's what? I mean, you got to be in like the second class, maybe
I think we are the fourth class.
fourth class.
So yeah. Uh-huh.
So it's been going really good. What is your class size there at TTU?
We're about 100 students.
Okay,
So
that's good
yeah,
stuff. Well, good. Well, you got connected through CVM. I believe you've already been to a real life real impact, maybe even.
that's correct. Yes.
Well, how did you get connected with CVM?
Yeah, so I actually had a friend that was already in vet school that was in CVM. So I knew I wanted to do it when I got here. But when I was doing my undergrad, I was at West Texas A&M University, and I started the companion animal program there.
Mhm.
And my advisor for that club and stuff, she is really involved with CVM, and I was on the officer team for the companion animal club, and she mentioned, hey, like, I'm a part of this organization, CVM, and um, there's a real life, real impact conference coming up, and it's in Texas, because it was the one that was in College Station. She was like, I really think it would be a neat opportunity for you guys to go. And I knew I wanted to be involved with it in vet school, but I didn't know I could go before I was in vet school. So I actually went while I was still doing pre-vet at WT. And man, it was the coolest experience ever, because talk about like, everyone's dream, I feel like, from being in like youth groups and being involved in the church and stuff, is to make their, career in life their mission field, right? To reach people. And so I feel like that was my first taste of like, oh my gosh, that's what CVM does, right? It teaches us to make our work our mission field. And it was really exciting. It made the whole process of getting into vet school and actually getting to be in the organization here at Tech that much more exciting. So
That's a great story. And then those real life real impacts are coming up. I think we go live as we're recording this. We go live this same day. So hopefully
oh
you'll
wow.
be able to find one that I think maybe OK State is the closest one to you this year or something.
Yes, I think I'm gonna try to go. So hopefully it works out.
Love it. Who was your advisor there at West Texas?
Dr. Newcomer, Sarah Louise
I
Newcomer.
thought it was Sarah Louise. Give a shout out.
Yes.
Yeah, she's so great. So awesome. Yeah, what an ambassador she is for the ministry. Well,
Yes.
part of your journey to faith that is, of certainly of unique interest is I believe you're also in vet school, but as a visually impaired vet student. Can you tell us a
Mhm.
little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. This has been a really unique journey. Because there's honestly not a lot of people who have a visual impairment to my degree that choose to go into the veterinary industry, just because there are a lot of visual like aspects, right? To be, a doctor and everything. And so when I first decided I wanted to do this, I was nervous, obviously, because there's not a lot of, I think there's three other people who are visually impaired who've ever gone into this industry
Wow.
as veterinarians. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to be kind of paving the way a little bit for people behind me. But I was willing to do that because people have done it for me. And, if I can be a voice for those that maybe can't speak up for them, like, to stand up for themselves, I'd love to do that for them. Right. And so I decided to jump in and I was like, man, I'm going to have to get my vet hours done and everything else to get into vet school. And so I started looking for clinics previous to get my experience before school started. And, that was actually a lot harder than I thought it would be. There was not a lot of clinics that were willing or had the time to work and teach me the way that I needed to be taught, like hands on, kind of a little bit slower, figuring out where things are. And I found a wonderful clinic in Lubbock that was amazing, and they took me under their wing and taught me everything I needed to know, and gave me, a substantial amount of experience to be able to go apply for vet school. So then I, went through the whole application process, was blessed to get an interview, and did all of that. But it was interesting because after I got into vet school, there was a lot of people that wanted to share my story, which I am big on that. I'm like, please share it, because even if it only touches one person, that's all that matters to me. If it can make a difference for one person's life, that's worth it. And it got shared everywhere. And people, there was a lot of phenomenal response from it. Like people were, they were excited, or they felt inspired to chase their own dreams, which was really exciting. But there was also a little bit of negative feedback as well, just because people, aren't always understanding of, what it's like to have visual impairment and how it can affect you. And so a lot of people were kind of like, saying like, oh, like, well, we don't think you're going to make it, and all of this stuff. And I just remember reading all those messages and stuff, and God just told me like I needed to keep going, because even though, people didn't believe in me, that wasn't the point. That was not the point of me getting into vet school. The point was that I was going to be able to help other people, and um, do what I was meant to do. And so, it's been a process, and getting here has been a process, right? And so, it's easy for me to come into vet school and say, oh, yeah, I know exactly what I need to be successful. But the truth is, I've never done this before. So it's been a really big learning process of working with mentors and teachers and faculty and even my classmates, on figuring out what works best for me to learn. But everyone here has been more than accommodating and so helpful. And I mean, I just feel so encouraged every single day. So,
Wow. Yeah. I mean, and like I said to you offline, you have value to us no matter what. But one of the reasons why we'd love to have you on the pod today is to share that. I mean, to
yeah.
put that forward and to help people have a greater understanding and better pave the way. I mean, you are being a groundbreaker here. And yet you're also every bit of the first year vet student. Like you said, you haven't done this before. You've dealt with visual impairment before, but you haven't been
Yeah.
so what tell us, what can we understand? What does the vet world need to do? The campuses, I mean, Texas Tech seems like it's just been wonderful for you.
Mhm.
What do the rest of us maybe need to do and understand that might help people with visual impairment succeed?
Yeah, so I think one of the biggest things that I've learned to teach people about, with my visual impairment, is that even though we have to do things differently, it doesn't mean that they won't get done right. And so, that might mean, okay, if I'm doing surgery or something, I might have to wear like a special pair of glasses, that tell me what's going on, and navigate, but it's okay. I can still do the job correctly, and everything else. So I think it's just like being open-minded and willing to adapt and change to the needs of people, because not everybody's going to do things the same. I mean, even people who don't have a visual impairment might have different strategies, right? And so just being willing to, not only pivot, but give someone the time to learn in the way that works best for them is so important. Because I mean, like, for example, like when people are studying for an exam, it takes me probably twice as long to study for that exam, right? And so my professors have been super understanding about, hey, like if you need extra time for this, you can have it. You know what I mean? And so them being willing to grace me with that extra time or a magnifier or something, just to help me learn and stay at the same level as the other students in my class. That's the big picture. So yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. Um, with applying for vet schools, what was that like? I mean, did you have to have a conversation with these individual vet schools about that, or were they, was there anything that went into that process for you?
So, I didn't talk to them individually, but I was just very, very open in my application. I told them, I said, listen, I do deal with this. I do have visual impairment. I've had it my entire life. I work with a guide dog. Like, I made sure that that was very apparent in my application, but I also made sure that they knew it has never slowed me down.
Yeah.
That, it's been a part of my life, but it hasn't hindered my life. Does that make sense? Like, and so I just very much was like, hey, like, this is something that I have to deal with, but it has never kept me from reaching my goals. And I've still been able to be a successful person in everything I've wanted to do. And so I think that they were able to see that the passion was there despite, my circumstance. So yeah.
Clearly. Well, what has been something just encourage like what has encouraged you in this process? I mean, it's hard enough for anybody to get into vet school and go through that. That's a big win as period. But to be one of the first three or four of any type of person to do something is quite something. What has been encouraging to you that's kept you moving forward?
Um, I grew up going to camps, right, for blind and visually impaired students with my twin brother, who's also visually impaired. And I remember going through these camps, right, and we would learn life skills. They would teach us, like, this is how you cook, this is how you organize your kitchen so you know where things are, like all of these incredible life skills, right? And I remember when I was applying for vet school, I was brought back to that moment because I was like, you know, all those people prepared me so well, and I came out on the other side as a confident individual. And so I knew with me going through vet school that I could be an encouragement to some of those people that, maybe I grew up with, or a younger generation that's in my same situation, to push forward and learn the skills that they needed to learn to be successful. Because those aren't just for life, those are for our careers too, right? Like, I tell people all the time, I'm like, if you want to do something, go for it. Like, you just have to figure out what works for you. And so that's been a big motivator. And, I've had a lot of people reach out to me saying, like, Faith, like, please keep going. Like, you're encouraging me to, you know, go be an artist or go do this or go do that. And that is just, oh my gosh, like, it is crazy. And so I think that, and then also I would say to the people that, have maybe not been so supportive in my journey or haven't understand where I'm coming from, that has also encouraged me because I'm like, how can I love them more and teach them more so that they will be able to encourage people in my situation later on. Because at the end of the day, I mean, I think I could have given in to them, obviously. I think it could have been a step back. But for me, it's just like, okay, they're not going to stop me from doing what I want to do, from pursuing what I want to pursue. But how can I make them better along the process? Because I know deep down, these people are not bad people. They just don't understand. So,
Faith, I'm pretty, sort of speechless at that response just because, I was going to follow up with a question. I was going to ask the encouraging question, and how have you dealt with it, the ones that haven't been, and even as you phrase it, as supportive. That's a generous reading of I'm sure some of the comments you've received, but to love them beyond that is truly um, because you could easily still use them as motivation, but make it more of a chip on your shoulder. Like, hey, I'll prove you wrong. I mean, that's kind of happens in the athletic world a long time. Like, I'll just put that as that'll be my motivator. But you've chosen to use their discouragement. It's still a lack of encouragement. There is a motivator, but not in a negative way.
Mhm. Yeah, it's been interesting because, at first I mean, obviously, with all of that going on, I honestly didn't know how to handle it, right?
Sure.
And I started praying about it and praying about it because I was like, obviously, like, I don't want to stoop to their level because that's not worth it. That's not going to fix anything for anybody. But, with my passion of helping others and stuff, I was like, you know what? Maybe this is a chance for me to teach them and to make them better people. And so I just felt so called by that. And I was like, I think that's what I'm gonna have to do.
Mm. That's that's wildly good. I mean, that's just good, Faith. That's just really good stuff there. So good. I think you are appropriately named.
Well,
Um,
thank you.
a nod to your parents. They appropriately gave you a first name that speaks well of you, but probably also keeps you moving forward in a good direction.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Well, okay, so here we are, first year. You're rolling on. Just a normal vet student question, because in some ways you're a normal vet student. What do you want to do? I mean, what are you particularly drawn to a certain role in vet med, or yeah, what are you thinking?
Yeah, so I worked for an equine vet for a couple of years before I came to vet school, and I grew up around horses. They were always, a really big part of my life. So I definitely think I want to go equine. But I love the small animal stuff too. So I'm hoping maybe mixed. And then a field that like interests me a whole lot because it doesn't require necessarily a whole lot of vision. You can do it by feel is like chiropractic work. And so I would love to like work on horses and people's pets and stuff and get them, feeling more comfortable for different things. Um, and then, just overall, yeah, I think mixed for the most part.
Man, that's awesome. Um, well, Faith, I will just prepare you. I think there's going to be a more of a platform for people to reach out and share and contact you, and also to help promote understanding and further, range of those of all abilities, right? Like so. People can definitely email podcast@cvm.org, and I will connect them with you. But are there ways that, you know, again, like I said, I think there will be people that want to cheer you on. I would not be surprised to see in 4 years your graduation, or 3 year, to be particularly well attended with some extra shouts. So keep that in your mind during those difficult times. But what are some ways that we can, how would you like me to, or us, or people to connect with you? Where can we find you or touch base with you?
Yeah, absolutely. I love talking to people and stuff. I do have social media. I would say like Facebook is always a good place to message me on. And then I can always give my email to be sent out too. But yeah, I'm happy to speak with people and hopefully encourage someone. So
And you might get a variety of questions, all taking that beautiful call forward that you're doing. So that's Faith Snapp with two P's. If anybody's just listening and not on YouTube or something, on social, I guess that's where they can find you, at Facebook and such.
yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, we like to kind of have, three big questions at the end. So, what's something fun or funny you've encountered in veterinary medicine?
Yeah, so I didn't personally encounter this, but my friend was telling me about it the other day and I thought it was so funny. I just had to share. So um the vet clinic that she worked at offered boarding, right? And so they would, keep people's pets while they were out of town and such. And there was a French bulldog that would come in often. And Frenchies are a little bit high maintenance. And it was so funny because the dog would only eat if it was like at home with its family. So it kind of struggled like eating and drinking whenever they were gone. So they got a picture frame of their family, one of those ones where you can record messages, and they would have them play it for her around mealtime so that she would eat, and it worked.
And it worked. You are
Yeah,
kidding me.
it worked. Yeah, and so they would play it for her so that she would eat her meals throughout the day. But yeah, I just thought that was so funny. Yeah.
Creative solutions. I mean,
Creative.
that's
Yeah.
so good. That's so good. All right. Well, Q2, what do you What do you love about veterinary medicine?
Oh man. I think it's funny because a lot of times when I was, in undergrad and stuff, and people were asked why they were going into this field, a lot of people said that, because they love animals, right? Because they want to help animals. And while that is like 150% true for me, I really think it's because I want to help people too.
Mm.
And so it kind of combines those two passions a little bit. Because not only, am I going to get to impact others by, working with their pets and understanding that connection and stuff, but I'm also getting to, help animals feel better and be better and do better for their owners or production or wherever they're at. And so yeah, that was my big thing, is just kind of combining those two passions and molding them into the doctor that I want to be one day. So yeah.
Love it. And last question. What is just an encouraging message or something you would like to leave with our listeners today?
Yeah, I would just say, if you're on the fence about going to vet school or going to that job interview or whatever it may be, please, please just do it, because the worst thing that can happen is they tell you no, and that's an opportunity to learn and become better so you can try again.
Mm.
I just think, everyone is capable of accomplishing their dreams, and nothing should be a limiting factor in that, and no one else should be the deciding factor. It's up to you, and if you're meant to be there, God will get you through it. So I would just say never give up on yourself.
Mm. That's awesome. Faith, do you mind closing us in prayer and praying for those that maybe are in that situation or are, um, breaking ground in unique ways like you are?
Yeah, absolutely, I don't mind at all. God, I just want to thank you for the fellowship today, with Curtis, and getting to have the opportunity to share my testimony on this podcast. And God, I just pray that, if there's anyone out there who may be listening, that you would just wrap your arms around them and provide them with peace and encouragement to keep going, God, because if it is meant for them, it will be done. And that they know that it can't be done on their own. They have to have you, God. And I just pray that everyone that, is pursuing something just leans on you and keeps going. And I am just so thankful for today and this opportunity, God. In your name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Faith, thanks for being faithful and sharing with us at the intersection of faith and veterinary medicine. Truly two roads crossing. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Two Roads Crossing, a podcast production of the Christian Veterinary Mission. If you are blessed by this content, like and subscribe so that you are alerted when new content is released. If you would like more information about CVM, or if you have questions, comments, or topical suggestions, you can find us online at www.cvm.org. Or you can contact us by emailing podcast@cvm.org. God has a plan for the nations, and that plan includes you. We pray that CVM has encouraged you to live out your calling with confidence and competence. So, until next time, may the voice of the shepherd ring loud and clear as you follow him in faith to the intersection of two roads crossing.